Welcome back to Tales from the PowerAge. Hope you're well, guys. You good?
Yeah,
Hi, guys.
Brilliant. Tonight we're going to bring you tales of embossed tickets. We're going to bring you tales of paper tickets, and we're going to bring you tales of pretty dull tickets. We're talking Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son tour, all the way back in 1988. And yes, you've guessed it, we were there, and we're going to tell you all about it. But before we do that, we'd love you to subscribe. So hit the house bell. Get involved in the comments down below. If you went to this tour, tell us what your memories were, because you might remember a lot more than we did, certainly from the Wembley show. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on to what came before the Seventh Son of Seventh Son. That was a mouthful. Gav.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody watching this knows, so we won't dwell on it. It was their first venture into more of a keyboardy sound, but this time with guitar synths was all the rage, with Somewhere in Time. So the picture on the right there is our thumbnail for the episode that we've done. So please search it out. I'll link it to the end of this show.
Great album as well. So I'm sure if you've not heard that, then check it out. So after that came Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. There were a bunch of singles that came out as part of that.
Have you got anyone? Shall I show them?
I've got this one. I've got Can I Play with Madness somewhere, but I can't find it. There you go. Anyway.
Yeah. So I quite like the way they all kind of match as a triptych. So yeah, this came out before the album, and advertises Donington on the back, along with the immortal only UK performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one, Bruce.
And then, as you can see there, we've got the Even That Men Do with Prowler and Charlotte the Harlot 88 versions. No doubt not an improvement on the original, but tell us what you think.
Non-live versions?
No, just re-recorded studio versions.
Oh, right, I've never heard them. And
then we have the Clairvoyant to finish as far as the singles from the album. And we have, that's the live version with The Prisoner and Heaven Can Wait live as well. There you go. I believe that will be the Donington crowd on the back there.
Yeah, we're in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
And they headlined Donington in '88, which was their first headline at the famous venue. We cover that extensively, and the Triumph and Tragedy, which we're not going to go on about today, but check it out. It's a great chat and recollection from that day. I think as part of the album there was quite a bit of merch, Gav, as well, wasn't there? I think.
Well, there was a merch sheet with the album, which I have here. Which is, I love it when you got that with every album, didn't you? And then you could look at your collection at the bottom. If it was the first press, tend to have it. So yeah, I don't own any of that official album merch.
Yeah, I definitely got one of the tour T-shirts, I think. But anyway,
this takes us to the album.
So this was the album. This was a real. I always think of these sort of three albums: Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, and Seventh Son as like a holy trinity of.
Absolutely, my exact words, mate.
Yeah, sorry, a holy trinity of Maiden albums, and they're like a collection on their own, those three, and it sort of all builds up to this album. So, Jam, shall we come to you first to talk through some of your highlights from this record?
Just when you set the scene, Gav mentioned the previous album had guitar synths, and now we heard this album wasn't going to have any guitar synths. It was just going to have keyboards. It was going to have synthesizers, but actually one's played by hand. So they got rid of the guitar synth thing.
That's right.
Recognizing it wasn't really the way forward. And I was trying to find out who played keyboards. There is a keyboard player, but it was just one of the bands, one of the techs. And whoever happened to be nearby would play whatever keyboards were required. So I didn't know if Don Airey was going to show up on the credits, but he didn't. That's probably the only album he wasn't on in the 80s. But yeah, when this was coming out, it was a concept album was the idea, inspired by the novel Seventh Son. I'm sure everyone knows this. It's so progressive. I really, really like it. I really loved it. One of the things I liked especially is when we talked a lot about that when we did Somewhere in Time, there was a feeling that Bruce Dickinson had come off of the Power Slave tour, And he came back after they'd had a break, and he bought these songs. And Steve Harris and the boys went, "No, Bruce, that's not where we're going, my friend." And apparently, Bruce was quite upset. He was just became the singer of the band for that period. Whereas when this album was then coming along, Steve Harris thought, right, I want to go down this route. I want this seventh album, seventh son of a seventh son. Let's see if we can get into this. It sounds really great. And apparently he contacted Bruce Dickinson in advance, said, this is what I'm thinking. And apparently Bruce was like, yeah. I think he's been quoted saying, I've got a phone call from Steve, and he was well interested. So the collaborative efforts that were going to go on, it came to pass. There was a lot of talk and a lot of work between them. And as you see from that, 5 of the 8 tracks were collaborations, and it feels much more, for me, it feels much more together as an album, and it put Bruce back in the right state of mind, I think, as a band member, and that just really warms the cockles as far as I'm concerned. It really makes you feel that there was a danger that something could go wrong, and in effect, the way that the album was set up was perfect. As far as the album's concerned, as you said, I really like it. It's in my top 4 Maiden records, along with Peace of Mind. I know it sounds nuts. The 3 that you mentioned, I've got a real soft spot for Peace of Mind. And I just think there's no one of the tracks jump out. I think it's just a really strong album for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely.
Yeah,
that's got to be a healthy band, doesn't it, with all the different writers and working with each other as well, because Maiden typically were just one or the other, weren't they, mainly?
Very much.
To see Smith come back, or even stronger than the album before, which had loads of Smiths on it.
Yeah.
He was obviously a major influence on Maiden at the time, which meant he was very much missed when he left.
Which I'm sure we'll come on to as next.
Yeah. Murray gets himself in there once every 2 albums, is it? He does.
Used to be the thing. It was once every 3 years, but this was actually 2 years after the last Murray track. So
yeah, prolific.
It's a brilliant song as well, The Prophecy, and totally different from all the other tracks on the album musically, which is a tribute to Dave Murray, really.
Yeah,
brilliant. Gaps, any standout tracks from the album?
Well, I love this album. It's absolutely brilliant. I love Moonchild. It's fantastic. What a great start to a record. It's so good. 2 brilliant guitar solos from Dave and Adrian, obviously. And then it goes into probably one of my favourite songs on the album, Infinite Dreams, which starts, you think it's going to start as a bit of a ballad, but then it probably ends up as the most metal track on the actual album. It's so good. There's time changes. There's about 15 middle 8s in it. It's absolutely brilliant. One of Steve Harris's best ever tracks. And my other pullouts from this would be Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, which has got the little middle bit in the end where it builds up and builds up and builds up, and it's just so good. And the Murray track, The Prophecy, which is totally different to all the other tracks on the album. The Clairvoyant with Steve doing his basses, and in fact, there's not really a bad song on this album, really not. I absolutely adore it. But it's if you didn't have Seventh Son of a Seventh Son clocking in at 9 minutes 50, it would be actually a really short record, because it's only like 43 and a half minutes long.
Yeah.
44 minutes. And where the previous 2 were over 50 and with the same amount of tracks. I mean, it's so strong. It really is. I mean, I didn't really enjoy the fact that there was going to be keyboards on it, but looking back on it, it's fantastic. Really, really good.
Sounds great as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. Gav, any thoughts? Any pullouts?
Talking of the production, I think it sounds a bit kind of looser than previous albums.
The guitar playing is without a doubt.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
It's not sloppy, but it's not like completely dead on.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
But that's okay, Martin Birch knows what he's doing. My favourites, I think, are probably the Smith tracks, which 2 of them are the singles. But Moonchild, gives you shivers, especially live. It's such a great song. I really like the fact that Dickinson was back on board, as Jam said earlier, because he is a tour de force of energy and ideas, and you don't want to have that, ostracized. You need him so Harris, as usual, was extremely clever in making that call and bringing him on board and getting him, engaged.
Just
but
one
then,
thing on the Dickinson thing. Sorry, Gav. It's me and Jan were talking about this the other day. His vocal performance on this album is absolutely immense. He's so good.
yeah. Well, that's the thing I think we said on another pod, that even if he isn't writing anything, he still gives it full beans, doesn't he? He gives it 100%. You wouldn't have thought that he might not be too happy about not having the song on the last album, because
you never know it. No,
he always gives 100% in everything he does. You know, clearly all his other achievements in life, and again, the artwork is just fantastic. You know, it's kind of strange. We normally see a full Eddie in some sinister guise. This time we've got this weird, manifestation of him, and then the singles have got different versions of him as well. It's really kind of, it was a bit unsettling when I first saw it, because I'm such a traditionalist for the old Eddie, but the blue is very striking. You don't see that color very often in a Maiden record.
No, that's what I was just wanting to add into the mix. The blue was such a color that it wasn't a color that we would be engaged with very often, and for the editing, for the album, the set, everything, it was really great, wasn't it? As far as that's concerned. But, just on that, when you said about Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, it was only when I was listening to this again I realised it's just shy of 10 minutes. It never, to me, it never felt. I always thought, there wasn't one of those long Maiden songs on this album, but of course there is. 9 minutes, just under 10 minutes.
You got that really long, slow bit in the middle, though. That's what takes up about 3 or 4 minutes, but it's just building up and building up with the guitars and each speaker, and it's going across and across. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've just noticed? It was really just looking at the album cover. If you include the Eddie and the one he's got in his left hand there, and then the ones on the back, there's actually 7 Eddies.
There's all previous Eddies, aren't they?
Look at that.
You've not seen them?
Huh?
You've not seen them before?
No, I didn't realise there was 7.
I didn't realise there was 7 either. That's brilliant. Shout.
I knew there were Eddies on the back. Of course, you got the number of the Beast Eddie, which really stands out on the back. But if you count all the Eddies on the 2 on the front and the 5 on the back, you've got 7 Eddies. So there you go.
And what
the 7th son is the one in his hand, right?
I would agree.
You know what? I never knew that.
Yeah.
Me either. Well spotted. And he's only spotted that tonight, people.
Yeah, there you go.
Got his little autograph there.
Yeah, I've got that as well. Yeah, it's awesome. My copy's slightly different because it was from Yugoslavia, and you can see that on the back.
That was a country back in the day, people.
Yeah, and now many of our records now are actually built in the Czech, pressed in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Show us your label, then we'll do a compare.
Yeah. We'll do. So my parents had gone on holiday. I didn't go. My parents went on holiday. I was too busy working in between college and stuff. But what's different is the bits around the label. You can just see. Look, I guess Slav
in Cyrillic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
And Gappy wanted to mention Nico's love for a woolly jumper.
Yeah, but it's so 80s, isn't it? I mean, it's Steve and Nico in the stonewashed denim. It's so 1988. And then that jumper he's got on, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's definitely a top man jumper from the time.
Top man.
Amazing.
Fan.
Anyway, so a huge thumbs up for the album then, yeah?
Definitely, mate.
We love it. I think it's great. And for those of you that haven't really explored older Maiden, these 3 albums, as we've mentioned, are definitely worth maybe exploring first. This is a really artistic time for the band. And for me personally, I think they died off a bit after this record, and things took some time to get back to what we'd expected. But this was a really fruitful time for the band, and you often find that with bands in early in their career, or as they reach the second stage of their career, they release some of the best stuff, and then it's quite difficult to maintain that for all the reasons that we know. There's some great pictures there. Gav, is that all from the Birmingham show?
I think it's probably from loads of different shows.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, quite hard to find pictures of this stage show online. But yeah, they had 2 or 3 different Eddies. Really good. And so this is the picture disc version that they issued a few years later. So you just got that. It's really cool.
So So actually, they played. They'd done the Monsters of Rock Festival tour. So we'd all been to Donington to see this one first, famously at Donington Park. So please check out our podcast on that one.
And don't forget, Dill, Bruce Dickinson was actually on the Friday Rock Show before Donington, saying that this was going to be their only show in the UK of 1988, and they weren't going to do any small venues or anything. And
pushing those tickets.
Yeah. But in Bruce's defence, Gav had it on. It's on one of those singles he just showed. So in Bruce's, didn't it say on one of those singles? Only shows.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does say Monsters of Rock. Yeah, 7th tour, 7th tour.
Only UK
appearance. Yeah, it says it there.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Amazing.
So interesting, it wasn't. So after Donington, which was the 20th of August, the following weekend, me and Gav caught a coach to Germany.
Yeah.
And this is probably my favourite ticket in the world because it's embossed.
Have you cut that out, or is that actually the ticket?
Stick card as well.
That's bloody awesome. Isn't
We
it?
might do a separate show on that deal at some point.
Yeah, it's embossed, and look out for that.
It's a different lineup to the Donington lineup, so there's probably enough mileage in that for a separate show. So look out for that.
But anyway, either way, it was brilliant.
That was a hell of a day.
When did you say that was a week after? Did you say?
Yeah, so that must have been on the Sunday because it was 8 days afterwards. So they normally did a couple of Monsters of Rock dates in Germany. So they did Monsters of Rock Donington, and then we were on the coach, which we used to catch from Regent's Park, down to Germany, and have a whale of a time.
Yeah.
But we'll tell you all about that on another show. So they then went ahead and announced some UK dates at the back end of the year. So these are the press ads, Gav.
Yeah, plenty of dates actually, and they're using the kind of various different artwork. But as Maiden always do, they tore their asses off, and this time they did a blend of Wembleys and Hammersmiths.
Yeah,
86 had.
I'd like to know if Whitley Bay Ice Rink still exists. Because what a great venue to have on your ticket.
Up north, isn't it? Northeast.
Yes,
Newcastle,
somewhere in Newcastle.
Yeah.
That sort of way. I know AC/DC used to play there. Well, they certainly played on the Flying.
Kiss played there as well.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, brilliant.
To go to.
But this is them being the arena band. As I just said, they replaced their 6 Hamios last time round in '86. They replaced it with, as you can see there, 2 Wembley Arenas and 3 Hammersmiths. So sneaking in 2 Wembley Arenas, they hold 10,000 each, jumping up a bit. And of course, the NEC's on there as well, Birmingham. They did the 2 Birmingham NECs, which are, trying to see that from here, big old place, massive.
Yeah, according to this is on the back of the Clairvoyant. I don't know if you can see those dates, but there's not a Hammersmith at the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that was an extra.
So
Yeah,
they
It
added
must
an
have been
extra
an
one,
extra.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool, eh?
It's almost like a Christmas show, wasn't it? Because it was
Yeah.
in December, wasn't it? So brilliant.
Brilliant.
We didn't go to that, but we did go to the gig at Wembley Arena. This was the first of the 2 nights, I believe. I'm not going to lie, I don't remember a whole pile about it because I wasn't right down. Well, certainly wasn't right down the front. I remember that it just being a brilliant show, similar to the couple of gigs we'd already seen. There's the trusty old Wembley ticket, which they did for a few years. So 11th of December, Sunday night. So I think I went with a few guys from college at the time. So yeah, brilliant. I really enjoyed it, but I don't have lots of memories from the night itself. I think we were going to so many gigs at the time. It was difficult, and just started drinking. Well, started. It was probably been going on a few years up to that point.
Just started drinking legally, is what you meant to
Yes,
say.
legally. That's right. So it was. I had a great time. But look at that, £10 for your ticket as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And there's the tour merch.
You get any merch?
Do you know what? I think I'm pretty sure I had that T-shirt. You know, the Clairvoyant.
Yeah.
That was the one I had.
I can vaguely remember that. Yeah. There was
yeah.
that patch as well. That patch is cool.
I would have loved. Patch is brilliant, but I didn't have any of the other stuff. But yeah, brilliant. And I love the song as well, The Clairvoyant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I think, didn't they, when they rehearsed in The Clairvoyant, Gaps at Download a few years back when we were camping, we got woken up by it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were. And it was just, hairs on the back of your neck time. And ironically, they didn't play it that evening, but it was brilliant, that blasting out the PA. So if anyone's got another guitar much, let us know. Tell us what you got and what you remember from the gig as well, and where you were sat and which venue you went to. And then let's have a look at the set list. Which Gaps, I think you did a bit of research. There were some changes, weren't there, from Download or Donington?
Yeah, well, they put in Die With Your Boots on, Killers, and Still Life, which I think is one of Jam's favourite songs. He loves that, Off of Peace of Mind, and I don't think I've ever seen that live, so that must be an amazing song to see. Die With Your Boots on's a great song, and they swapped out.
It's 2 extra Peace of Mind songs on there.
Exactly. They swapped out Rothschild, 2 Minutes to Midnight, 22 Acacia Avenue, yeah, which are 2 of my favourite songs of all time. But to put Still Life in, that was a brave thing to do, because it's a strange old song, but it's a really, really good one.
If I can say that final 6 running of songs, Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills, Running Free, and Sanctuary. I know you guys aren't big fans of Sanctuary. I love it. I think it's great. But
no, not a Sanctuary fan.
Name this year called Run for Your Lives tour, which is going to be brilliant. We're all off to West Ham to go and see it. Pay homage to Steve in his favourite football stadium. Oh, if they do that as the final 6, I'll be really, really happy. But they're going to play some songs that they're never going to play again. So we're all really looking forward to that with bated breath. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely superb. But
a new live drummer.
Yeah, that's right. A drummer that we've seen a good few times as well with British Lions. So
yeah. I heard. I didn't know this, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but he shadowed Nico on the last tour in case Nico couldn't do.
That makes sense.
No,
not
I
his
didn't
playing
know that.
ability, but because of his stroke, if he didn't feel well enough to play. So it was no leap of anything for him to be the stand-in full time, because he already knew the set. And apparently Bruce Dickinson said that the first time they played through with him, ready for the next tour, he thought, God, that sounds like Clive Burr.
Clive Burr, yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah, it's brilliant.
But I didn't know he'd shadowed Nico on the last tour. So, that's really cool.
And it's interesting because, of course, British Lion, wherever they've been in the world, are doing dates alongside that as well, aren't they? So I'm guessing the whole band's gone out and it's been part of that sort of that tour, which is brilliant, which is really great to hear and see. So,
I think British Lion are doing about 18 nights at the Cart and Horses, aren't they, or something ridiculous? Maybe not that many.
Man,
you've got to respect Steve. I mean, he loves getting up and close and personal to the real fans.
Yeah, 100%.
We've all got some great photos of Steve with the band. And British Lion are brilliant, by the way. But it's a real treat as well. And if you haven't seen them and you've got an opportunity to pick a ticket up, snap the vendor's arm off and go and see them, because they're brilliant.
I was going to say, is there anyone of his status, as in, record sales, ticket sales, how long he's been in the business, that still does get up close and personal?
No, I don't think so.
There can't be, can there?
No.
And in turn,
it's really hard to get your head around.
The respect, I know that Steve Harris commands anyway because of what he's achieved. But Dill, you've seen him at Dover, Booking Hall, your local independent venue.
And Margate, the ballroom.
Yeah, we've caught him at Crawford Arms, Milton Keynes, which is our local independent music venue. The support that he's giving by getting out there and making sure, not just that they come along to see him, but if you're going to go along to a gig, if there's like British Lion are great in their own right, let alone with the Maiden connection. If it gets people down to the local music venue and go,
that's
actually,
a really good point.
Brilliant.
Yeah, damn straight.
So
just fill the places out.
Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, the Dover story, Dover Booking Hall was going under, and they were sort of doing a call to arms, which Steve, bless him, answered. And my understanding is Steve didn't, and British Lion didn't get paid for that gig, and Chris Barris did one as well. He did a free gig for the venue, but I think it was. And please, if anyone knows, or if the Booking Hall are watching this, tell us. but I believe it was the British Lion gig, and Steve Harris was the one that ultimately saved the venue because I think they made so much money out of it, which is brilliant.
That's really brilliant. Yeah.
It's a great venue. It's great. Some great independent venues out there. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that. But the other thing I want to touch on, Gappy's reason of So Fresh. We were on a road trip just last week, Gaps and I, 6 plus hours in the car, and of course I did happen to click on the greatest Iron Maiden set list, playlist ever. It's got the top 10 songs they've ever done, and it included Still Life, which is, and Gap's like, what's this on here for? I said, because it's immense. And he realised, yes, it is brilliant. So yeah, just to bring that one. But the strange thing for this
honestly,
set,
I thought you were going to crash how mental you were going to it as you were driving.
I got a bit excited. I did. But for me, Dill, you mentioned the running of this, the last 6 songs. They're not my favourite Maidens because I love the new. I knew you were going to say that. I love the Holy Trinity you mentioned, but those 4 albums, including Peace of Mind. So for me, this is a great, great set. And that first 10 tracks, which when you see the Made in England album, the first 2 sides, it's just fantastic. I get the traditionalists and the real core Maiden fans. That's what they want. They want to hear your Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Like those last 6. That's what you want to hear as all the Maiden fans. So that's great. And I respect and love the fact that they actually wheeled all those out for the hits, if you like, but the real big numbers that they like. The first 10, 12 tracks of this, just brilliant.
And very familiar this set list will be to people that have got those albums, the live video and then the live album, which we could talk about in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was the gig, which was enjoyed, albeit not loads of memories. Although I did read, and I'm pretty sure he didn't come on the night I was there. I think the following night, Ade Edmondson came on with a band at the end. I don't know what he did. So if anyone can remember that gig or was there the night after we were there, please remind us what happened and what he did. And we'd seen Maiden with Bad News and Ade Edmondson a couple of years earlier at a charity show at Hammersmith. So, I mean, I'm sure it was brilliant.
So if he did, then he must have come on as Vim Fuego, surely, not Ade Edmondson.
Do you know what? I really don't know, actually. But anyway.
He must have done, surely.
I can't remember. Listen, just one thing just to show. You've got Simon Dawson's autograph on here as well as the new drummer. And Steve, this is a British Lion signed piece of merch.
Cool.
From one of the gigs I saw them at, which is quite nice. But again, this is a local artist that the band and Steve are promoting, so I'll give them a shout as well. From Essex, Wind Free Cart. So check them out. Some really cool stuff there. But yeah, it's nice. And then that was all personally signed, so chuff for that.
And for the live gig, just to finish off on the live gig, I did, while I was trawling around in prep for this, it did come up somewhere saying that Michael Kenny, Steve Harris's bass technician, took over keyboards.
That's the one.
One for the nerds, so they couldn't just run to the side and press a button, so they had a dude there doing the keyboard bits.
Poster bag version.
You love a massive poster.
He loves it. They loved posters at that point. At that time, there's posters and everything, wasn't there?
The bigger, the better. That's that's interesting. Is that the same as the in the sleeve of?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
which is a great bit.
Put that up later.
Yeah,
I still attest that Extreme poster I got is the biggest poster in the world.
Yeah, I think so.
Apart from the one I acquired at Hammersmith Odeon at the AC/DC Live at the River Plate.
That's not an actual poster, though.
Well, it's more wallpaper.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's for another one. Gab, what came next then?
Well, we had the Made in England video, VHS, back in the day. And that was the one that was kind of the sister video to the Live After Death. This was the one that Steve Harris decided he was going to edit himself. And he wanted it to be from the view of the crowd rather than the manager previously wanted the American one to look really posh, and it was shot on film and it looked really high end. This was Steve's idea, was to make it look really not low end, but a fan's view of the gig. And that's subsequently been released on DVD. I don't think it's on Blu-ray. So that came out kind of at the same time, or just a year after the shows. It was NEC, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Infinite Dreams Live came out to promote the video effectively. And then the whole thing got repackaged for the Made in England 88, which you see on the right there. not so very long ago, which young Jamo has there. It's a really lovely Maiden glossy set, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
Typical Maiden.
I should have put that in the presentation.
It's got that. That was that poster you had.
Cool. Very
That's
cool.
a great pick. And it was a picture disc to boot.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Discs to
really
boot.
good.
It's the other one that's actually the.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And the piece to.
I don't think that one is. I don't think the one with the horse is Derek Riggs, is it? I think all the others are.
Yeah.
Still great.
Really, I mean, you've got to love Maiden for their packaging, haven't you?
Absolutely.
And and that set list is it's one of my favourite set lists. I really like that set list, and it's true to every song's on that album, which I like. They've not left any off. And we've done a pod where I get a bit lambasted a bit for not being such a fan of Live After Death as I am of that live album. But hey ho, listen to that; it's brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay, and then an album came out. The next studio album was No Prayer for the Dying. Yeah, so there are some differing views on this one. I mean, look, it didn't hit the heights of the 3 albums before it, and I would challenge anyone to say that it did. But some interesting covers there, Gav.
Yeah, the one on the far right is the version you find these days. They've taken out the grave digger or whoever the character is. Arguably supposed to look like Rod Smallwallet. I don't know if that's true. And then the one in the middle looks really cool, but I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's a picture disc. So I think it's supposed to be the album picture disc.
It's the Tail Gunner, isn't it?
The character.
Yeah, definitely the Tail Gunner.
Yeah. But yeah, the album was disappointing. It didn't sound great. I think it sounded like they were trying to go rocky, and that was the direction that Adrian Smith didn't want to go in. So subsequently, he hot-footed it out of there. And the first time we were introduced to young Yannick, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
unfortunately, it's definitely Martin Birch's worst ever production as well. The production on this album is terrible, really, really poor.
I think the difficulty that they had though is that up until this point, nothing they'd ever done was anything other than brilliant. I think we'll agree. Everything they'd done was just brilliant. And when you think, oh, hold on, some guitar synths for Somewhere in Time, brilliant. Keyboards. I was never a fan of keyboards. If a band had a keyboard, I might be like, I'm not sure. You'd take a bit to win me over. But Seventh Son, brilliant. So it's like, just carried on. Amazing me in hindsight when you look back and you see that Adrian Smith chose not to then be a part of this next step. It's really interesting, isn't it? That was that he read it for himself.
I think that.
Well, he just wanted it to be the same or pretty much similar to what they'd done before, and Steve Harris wasn't going in that direction, so that's why he decided it wasn't for him.
Let us know what you think.
Songwriting talents, didn't we? That was the trouble.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But
obviously,
what we might all just want to say is that the great thing is that we all like in the fullness of time, what goes around comes around. That they came back together and producing again, which is fantastic for us.
Yeah. Anyway, they are now playing shows bigger than they've ever played. All over the world. They're selling out stadiums, huge arenas, everywhere. And as we've already mentioned, we cannot wait to see them.
We're still going.
At West Ham, and they're still going. It's going to be amazing.
No, we're still going.
Yeah, of course we're still going.
Exactly.
And we saw them a couple of years ago at the O2, and that was fantastic as well.
Oh, it's immense.
We're looking forward to it. So we've got some Iron Maiden on our live channel, so you might want to check that out. There's a couple of vids on there from the last tour, and we had a brilliant night at that. And there's a tour talk special from that as well on our main channel, which you're watching now. But please check it out. It's free to subscribe. If you're bored on a Saturday night and you've got a few tins in the fridge, just get them out and drink away and enjoy yourself. It's fantastic. If you want to get in contact with us, you can on www.talesfromthepowerageage.com. We're on Facebook too. We're also on Twitter, sharing some of our relics and stuff and records and various other bits and pieces that we've acquired. We're on Bluesky. We're on Instagram. If you want some merch, you can get that from Spreadshop. Every time I see that, I think it's like a betting shop.
Yeah, so do I.
Weird, isn't it? And as I've already mentioned, you can see what we're up to online. We've got loads of stuff coming. Look out for the Tour Talk special for Iron Maiden later in the year. It's going to be immense. Let us know what you thought. Please give us a subscribe and ring the hell's bell. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Speak to you later. Bye.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys.
Oh, and up the iron.
Many apologies for any inconvenience.